Okay, so if you're running a business today, you have certainly confronted the beast that is paid search.
Oh, absolutely.
We're talking about Google Ads, PPC, this promise of instant customers.
Right.
And for the biggest companies, it's the engine room of their growth. But for almost everyone else, it often just feels like a complicated slot machine that just eats your cash.
It's the ultimate marketing paradox, isn't it? The system clearly works, but all the success stories seem to be from those with, like, infinitely deep pockets.
Exactly.
So we've synthesized a huge stack of sources, agency, white papers, academic research to give you a genuine shortcut. We're going to bypass all the minor tactical errors and really zero in on the big strategic reasons why paid search just fails to deliver for most businesses.
That's the plan.
Mm.
This deep dive is really your guide to understanding the 3 root causes of PPC failure. We're tackling that central question: why isn't paid search working for you? And we've broken it down into 3 core pillars: investment, alignment, and this idea of demand creation. And if you can fix these 3, your path to success just gets so much clearer.
Let's get into it.
All right, let's start with the cold, hard numbers. The first big reason so many businesses struggle is what we're calling the investment barrier.
Yeah.
They simply haven't put enough skin in the game to even let the system work properly. Our sources show a really stark reality here. The super successful Google Ads clients, they often have budgets over £1 million a month.
£1 million. And then you look at the frustrated clients, the small and mid-sized businesses who are maybe trying to run on, what, £500 a month? Maybe a couple of thousand. The gap is just immense.
It is.
And the consequences aren't just financial, they're fundamentally about data.
Okay, let's break that consequence down, because this is where that cycle of failure really begins.
Right. So if you have a low investment, you get extremely low traffic volume.
Makes sense.
Low traffic then leads directly to low conversion volume. And this is the critical point. Low conversions mean you get almost zero valuable learnings for optimization. Google Smart Bidding, it's all machine learning. So if you only feed that machine 5 clicks a day, it could take months, literally months, to get enough data to make one single informed decision. It's a vicious cycle of data ignorance. The system just can't improve if it can't learn.
So it's the difference between running a proper scientific trial versus just flipping a coin a few times.
That's a great way to put it.
So if £500 a month is essentially throwing money away because it generates no data, what's the minimum viable budget our sources suggest to get to that critical mass of learning?
It varies wildly by industry, of course, but the consensus seems to be that for most competitive sectors, you need enough budget to get at least 30 to 50 conversions per month.
30 to 50.
And ideally, more like 50 to 100, just so the optimization model has something consistent to chew on. So for a small business with, say, a cost per acquisition of £40, you can see how quickly that £500 just vanishes without any real data to show for it.
Right.
You have to find that learning floor and commit, or maybe don't even start.
That really sets the expectation. So if you are a smaller client and you just can't hit those massive budget numbers, how do you mitigate this data shortage? How do you maximize what you have?
You have to become absolutely ruthless with your focus. The first step is to tighten up your targeting.
Okay.
If you can't afford to target everyone, then only target the people who are most likely to convert. This means using specific controls, like geofencing, only targeting a 20-mile radius around your city, maybe, or being really aggressive with negative keywords.
Can you give us a quick, practical example of how powerful negative keywords can be here?
Absolutely. Let's say you sell high-end, bespoke enterprise software. If you don't use negative keywords like free, cheap, tutorial, or student, half of your precious 50 clicks a day could be totally wasted on people just looking for a guide on Microsoft Excel.
Wow.
You have to aggressively exclude that low-value traffic right away and funnel those scarce pounds only toward the high-intent searchers.
That's a huge efficiency gain right there.
Yeah.
Now, what about consolidating the budget? You mentioned that, but wait, isn't that putting all your eggs in one basket?
That's a critical question, yeah.
If I put all my budget into one campaign, how do I make sure I'm still hitting different types of intent? What's the risk there?
And yes, traditional thinking often said to segment everything out. But for a small budget, consolidation is absolutely key. Because the risk of having no data at all is so much greater than the risk of, maybe mismanaging a single campaign.
I see.
If you have 5 campaigns running on £100 each, you're getting almost no data in any of them. That's 5 simultaneous failures. But if you consolidate that into one 500-pound campaign, your optimization efforts and your learnings are all grouped. You finally achieve that critical mass for smart bidding to even start working.
So the goal isn't perfect segmentation at first. The goal is just generating enough data for the algorithm to start its job.
Yeah.
You're sacrificing nuance for density.
Precisely. You have to get the learning engine running first. You can always segment later once you have robust, proven data pathways.
Okay, that sets the stage.
Uh.
But having enough money to learn is only the first hurdle. Let's move to our second pillar, the alignment barrier. This is where you might have plenty of data, but the goals of the ad platform and the goals of your actual business start to drift apart.
This is such a classic issue. Your campaign objective has to align with your business objective, or Google Ads is basically optimizing blind. Most businesses want profit, but they set up tracking to measure something simple, like a PDF download or a contact us form submission. The platform is designed to get the lowest cost for whatever conversion you define. It doesn't inherently care if that lead is qualified or profitable.
So the platform is incredibly efficient, but only at achieving the narrow target that you set for it.
Exactly.
So the first crucial steps here must be about feeding the system pristine, complete data. What are the foundational things that businesses are failing to get right?
The first step is just non-negotiable today. You have to maximize your foundational measurement tools. This really means getting Google's measurement setup right, focusing on 2 key things: on-device measurement and making sure consent mode is properly implemented.
Okay, hold on. That's pretty technical jargon, right? Why should a business owner who's focused on profit margins care about on-device measurement or consent mode?
Because of privacy legislation. It's that simple. If you don't implement these, your conversion data becomes leaky. When a user declines tracking consent, the old tracking methods just break. Okay.
On-device measurement is a newer technique that helps recover some of those lost signals using machine learning, keeping your datasets richer. And crucially, if you don't implement consent mode, Google can lose huge chunks of the customer journey, leaving the smart bidding algorithm flying blind, trying to optimize on incomplete data.
So it directly hits your bottom line.
Directly. It impacts your ability to scale effectively. It's not technical fluff. It's essential compliance that powers the whole engine.
That makes perfect sense. So once we're tracking the basics correctly, we need to move beyond simple conversions to optimizing for true business value. How do we teach Google Ads what's actually important?
This brings us to the second, more advanced tip. Optimize to value. You need to switch your objective from volume to profit. So instead of telling the platform to get the lowest cost per click, you use tools like Target ROAS return on ad spend to go after higher value conversions.
So if I sell a basic silver subscription for £10 and a platinum for £100,
and Google gets me conversions for both at the same cost, I obviously want the platinum customer. How do I tell the algorithm that?
that's the exact scenario. You can start simply by assigning conversion values. Platinum is worth 10 times silver, so you assign those values. This immediately teaches the algorithm to chase that 100-pound customer more aggressively, even if that conversion is a bit harder to get.
That's the starting point. But what's the advanced state of optimization that the sources point to?
Ideally, you'd be optimizing using dynamic data. You'd feed the platform the real historical value of that customer, or even better, their customer lifetime value, their LTV.
LTV.
Think of it like dating. You don't just optimize for the easiest person to get a first date with. You want to optimize for the person who's going to be a profitable long-term relationship.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
So how does LTV change the game for PPC?
LTV is predictive. If you know that customers who buy product A typically spend £200 with you over the next year, while customers who buy product B spend $2,000, okay, you can bid 10 times higher for that product B conversion and still have a massive ROI. It teaches the system to chase the customers who contribute most to the business's long-term health, not just the easiest, lowest quality click today. This is the difference between surviving in PPC and truly thriving.
Moving from optimizing for a click to optimizing for long-term cash flow. That's powerful. Okay, so we've covered having enough money to learn
Invest.
and having the right data to tell the platform what to learn.
Alignment.
Now we get to the third major reason for failure, the funnel barrier. What is the fundamental nature of paid search that so many businesses just get wrong?
The misunderstanding comes from misidentifying what the tool is for. Paid search is generally a low-funnel marketing tool. It is incredibly effective at converting existing demand.
Right.
If someone has already decided they need a service and they type best accountant near me, PPC is phenomenal at intercepting that demand.
But, and this is the huge caveat, PPC does not create new demand.
Exactly. If you've invented a revolutionary new type of widget that solves a problem, but nobody knows what it is, well, nobody is searching for it.
Right.
So if you throw £5,000 at search ads for that new widget, you are fundamentally fishing in an empty pond. You have to fill the bucket before you can start taking water out from the bottom.
So if a business needs growth, and that growth depends on creating new demand, they can't just rely on their standard text search campaigns.
Not at all.
They need a two-part solution. First, how do they use the Google ecosystem to tackle that upper funnel problem?
They need to focus on consideration and awareness.
Yeah.
This means moving beyond just standard text ads and using Google's upper funnel tools, specifically using video campaigns and the newer demand gen campaigns.
Wait, what exactly is a demand gen campaign?
Think of demand gen as Google's modern answer to social media advertising.
Okay.
It's a type of campaign designed to serve personalized visual ads across Google properties like YouTube, Gmail, Discover feeds to people who haven't searched for your product, but whose behavior suggests they might be interested. It's all about planting that seed, moving people into the consideration stage so they become that existing demand that your low funnel search campaigns can then convert later.
So that's part one, fill the funnel. Part two then is about the competition. Once that customer is finally searching, they're in market, they see 5 ads that look identical. How do we grab their attention?
The second strategy is all about execution at the point of sale. You must stand out in the search engine. When a user searches, they're looking for the path of least resistance. You need competitive differentiation.
And that differentiation has to be immediately obvious in the ad copy, right?
Precisely. If your pricing is the same as your competitors and your ad copy says nothing unique, you've already lost. You have to attract those users with concrete competitive elements.
Like what?
Are you highlighting clear promotions? Do you have a better price point? Are you using ad extensions to show off unique features like free next day delivery or a lifetime guarantee? That is your unique selling proposition, your USP.
And if it's not in the ad?
If your USP isn't obvious in the first 3 lines of your ad copy, you are invisible. You're just relying on being the cheapest, and that's a very tough game to win.
So the lesson there is you can have the most optimized campaign in the world, but if your actual offer doesn't stand out when the buyer's making a decision, all that optimization is basically for nothing.
Absolutely. The search campaign converts, your offer is what sells.
This has been incredibly clarifying.
Right.
We've tackled the 3 big strategic reasons PPC often fails. Let's just quickly connect the dots for everyone listening.
We started with the investment barrier. Low budgets mean low learnings. You counter that by consolidating your spend and tightening your targeting to get data density.
Right.
Then, the alignment barrier, optimizing blind because your measurement isn't aligned with business value. You fix that by getting the foundations right, like consent mode, and then optimizing to higher value metrics like LTV with target ROAS.
And finally, the funnel barrier. Misinterpreting paid search as a demand creator when it's really a demand converter. The solution there is twofold. Use assets like video and demand gen to push people into the funnel, and once they're searching, make sure your offer stands out with strong USPs or pricing.
And the knowledge here lets you scrutinize your own PPC strategy right now. Before you blame the algorithm, you have to figure out if you're really focused on optimization like tightening targeting and data, or if you have a fundamental demand creation problem where you need to fill the funnel first. You can't solve for the wrong problem.
That is the essential insight. If your paid search converts existing demand and you've hit a ceiling, that means you need more people searching for you. So here's a final provocative thought to chew on. If your entire PPC strategy is dependent on converting existing demand, what untapped, non-search-related marketing channel could you leverage today? Something outside of Google, like a targeted partnership, a big PR push, or even local offline advertising to create new brand awareness that directly feeds your highly efficient search campaigns next month. Think outside the search box to make the search box work exponentially better.